Inshallah, we will start now. Alhamdulillah, countless gratitude to Allah, the Lord of all the creations, that He has bestowed upon us this opportunity and ability to spend this time in His remembrance. Innumerable peace and blessings be upon our beloved Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Ahmad Mujtaba Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because of whom Allah's mercy is upon us. My dear and respected audience, Allah says in Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإن تطع أكثر من في الأرض يضلوك عن سبيل الله إن يتبعون إلا الظن وإنهم إلا يخرصون صدق الله العظيم. And if you follow most of the people that are on earth, they will make you go stray from the path of Allah. They do not follow but their own conjunctures, and in those they are totally lost. So today is the fourth day of the month of Muharram, which is the first month of Islamic calendar. This month, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he called it Shahrullah, the month of Allah. This month has great significance. A lot of, if not all of, key events that happened in the life of mankind, and for that matter, for the creation or for this whole universe that we are a part of. They all happened during this month. So that is why Rasulullah ﷺ, he called him Shahrullah, the month of Allah. And more specifically, in this month, there are many things that happened on the 10th of Muharram, Yawm al-Ashura. And whenever it coincides with Yawm al-Jum'ah, meaning when 10th of Muharram or Yawm Ashura was on Yawm al-Jum'ah, many of the key events happened during that day. The creation of heavens and earth, the Big Bang in scientific terms, it happened in Muharram on the day of Ashura and on the day of Jum'ah. Then Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, he was created on the day of Muharram, on the 10th of Muharram. On Jum'ah, he was sent to Jannah and Muharram, and day of Jum'ah on Yom Ashura, he was expelled from Jannah and sent down to earth on the 10th of Muharram and the day of Jum'ah. His Tawbah was accepted on the 10th of Muharram, day of Jum'ah. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, the Passover, it happened on 10th of Muharram, day of Jum'ah. And then for us Muslims, an added importance is that the real explanation of Deen al-Islam, of the way of Islam, not the religion of Islam, the way of Islam, it was sealed on 10th of Muharram by Hazrat Imam Hussain salam in the Battle of Karbala. And Rasulullah also mentioned that the Qiyamah, Yawmul Qiyamah, when this whole world will be destroyed, it will again be the 10th of Muharram and Yawmul Jum'ah. And as a coincidence is that in this year, 10th of Muharram is falling on the day of Jum'ah, inshallah ta'ala. It is the first month of Islamic calendar. And Islam is unique in every way possible. If you look at other people, what happens when their new year starts? Everybody has a new year. Some had sometimes, some has another time. Chinese at different time. The Westerns have a different time, another so on and so forth. But whenever there is marking of beginning of a new year, there are celebrations, there are jubilations, there are all that excitement and quote unquote happiness. Contrary to that, when the new year of Islam starts, it starts with tears. It starts with the remembrance of a great sacrifice. It starts with remembering one of the greatest example of oppressiveness, one of greatest examples of misery, of sacrifice, patience, perseverance, and belief in itself. And this is what distinguishes Islam from everything else. Because remember, Islam does not tell us that we are here in this world to enjoy. Nowhere in Quran does Allah say that. You read the Quran from Alif or of Alif Lam Mim till the scene of Wannas. You will not find a single verse where Allah will say, Allah has said, oh, this world is your place to joy, have fun, accumulate wealth, and everything like that. To live. You will not find a single verse in Islam, in Quran. You will not find a single dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he ever made to Allah, oh Allah, make my ummah rich. Give them an abundance of everything or anything. The only thing that he wanted or he asked us to have more is the progeny, is the children. Because he wanted to have more and more Muslims. So on the day of judgment, he can feel proud over other prophets and messengers that see my followers are so many more than any of you. That is the only one thing that Rasulullah asked us to, other than hasanat and everything from a worldly matters, that progeny have lots of children, have increased the population of Muslims. But other than that, you will not find anywhere that, oh, you do this, oh, you have to do this, oh, Muslims, go ahead, you have to work 8 to 9, work for extra hours if it gets you 1.5 times of your pay, because this is what I have decreed upon you, so you can become rich and happy and healthy and satisfied in this world. Allah never said that. Oh, you do who believe, go ahead, make sure you have your bank balances full, because it is up to you that you do not go hungry at night, that your children do not go hungry at night. Allah has never said that in the Quran. We can go reading Quran from start to end, and we will not find a single mention where Allah encouraged us to spend the time while earning the things of this world. Quran and Rasulullah always say that this world is a mirage, it's a test, it's a place of trouble. Live with it. Be ready for the hereafter, for the next world. That is the place where you will be happy. That is the place where you will have no fear. That is the place where you will not fall sick. That is the place where your loved one will not leave you. That is the place where you will have everything you want, however you want, whenever you want. That is al-akhirah. That is Jannat. That is the place, not this world. And that is why when our new year starts, it starts with the great sacrifice to tell us that, hey, you are starting a new chapter of your life. Get ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of Allah. Get ready to make sure that you hold nothing dear to your heart in your heart than Allah and His obedience. This is what makes Islam different. And yes, when you tell it to your friends at and the colleagues and everything else that, oh, our year starts at crying and remembering a great sacrifice, they will look at you and say, oh, are you crazy? What kind of a religion is that? Because they don't know that Islam, and we don't know that Islam is not a religion. Christianity is a religion. Judaism is a religion. Hinduism is a religion. Islam is not a religion. Islam is a constitution. There is a difference between religion and constitution. Religion tells you pray, fast, hajj, zakat, and you are good. This is what definition of religion is. The constitution says do this, don't do this. If you do this, don't. If you did not do what you are supposed to do, you will get punished. If you do what you are not supposed to do, you will get punished. These are the things. You need to walk like this, you need to talk like this, you need to operate like this is how you need to deal with each other. This is how your matters of the state need to be run. This is what your relationship needs to be with other human beings, with other Muslims, with other non-Muslims. This is constitution. If you read the constitution, there are laws, bylaws, and so on and so forth. Islam is a constitution. Islam is not a religion. And that is why when the constitution, and you see, what does the American as a country, what do they celebrate? The Memorial Day. What is Memorial Day? Remembering the sacrifices, getting everybody else ready that, okay, if the time comes, we are going to willing to lay our lives and everything, right? They keep on. That is the only reason. Why do you have the Labor Day? Oh, if the time comes, we will stand up to protect that. What is the Independence Day? Oh, if the time comes, we will be willing to sacrifice everything to support it and to defend this country. Every country does that. Islam, it says, starts with it, and that is what our commitment is. If the time comes, we will do whatever it takes to establish the constitution of Allah on His earth. That is what Islam is. That is where our month starts. But as I just read in this ayah, Allah says, but if, and it is Allah's kalam, and it will hold true for every instance of the history of this earth. And what is it saying? If you follow the majority of the people on the earth, they will make you go astray from the path of Allah. They do not follow anything but their own guesses and conjunctures. And in that, they just keep on guessing here and there, pointlessly. So, what does it tell us? It tells us that whenever you will be following the majority, rest assured you are not following the path of Allah. And that majority is not only Christians and Hindus and Sikhs and Buddhists and Jews, Muslims as well. Muslims as well. Unfortunately, this is what has always been. This is what will always be. If you go for the majority of the Muslims, they will make you go astray. The first majority vote in Islam was conducted when choosing the Khalifa between Hazrat Uthman anhu and Hazrat Ali anhu. That was for first time when somebody actually went and asked people around who shall I pick? And unanimously people picked Hazrat Usman anhu. Why? Do you think he was better than Hazrat Ali? No. They were afraid that if Ali comes to power, he will rule just like Umar, who was so strict. He won't let us enjoy life. Whereas Hazrat Usman anhu, he was as pious as he was very soft-hearted, kind-hearted. He was never known to be harsh on anybody. So they said, no, give us the soft person. Hazrat Usman radiallahu anhu, he became the third Khalifa, and we know how it ended. No blame on Hazrat Usman radiallahu anhu. He just was not cut for ruling with a hard hand, iron hand. He was soft, he was kind. People abused his kindness and his softness that ended up him being martyred and Muslim being fragmented so badly that to this day we are not united. And this great Hazrat, what happened for Karbala, it is very easy just reading or hearing about it and saying, oh, yeah, there was one battle, it happened. Maybe you shed a tear or two or something and then move about. But imagine, relive why did it happen? What led to its happening? Before Karbala, Imam Hassan والسلام, he made a peace treaty unwillingly. The reason being, the army that was with him, they were sold out. They were sold out. His opponent, Amir Muawiyah, he sent him a letter and also he sent him copies of some letters that Hazrat Imam Hassan's generals had sent to Muawiyah in exchange of money that, okay, when you come on the battlefield, we will tie Hassan up and hand him over to you and you will pay us this much. Hundreds and thousands of gold coins. Of course, they were humans too. And remember, the epitome, the peak of it is seen at Karbala. This ayah, you cannot see a clearer proof of it being true than on the battlefield of Karbala. There were 5,000 Muslims, not Jews, not Christians, not Hindus, Muslims, came to slay the grandson of Rasulullah. And not only grandson, Rasulullah, he had foretold that he is going to be the leader of the young people in Jannah. So he was guaranteed Jannah. So now 5,000 Muslims, they are here to kill 72 people, leader of whom is the grandson of Rasulullah, who everybody knew that Rasulullah, who has never told a lie, had told that he is the leader. Sayyid al-Shabab Ahl Jannah, he is the leader of the young people in Jannah. And they were there to kill him. Why? Because, that's the beauty of it, because they're religious scholars paid by the government, and not only paid by the government, telling them the same thing they wanted to hear. They had told them that Hassan is no more a Muslim. They are rebels. They are, and and most of the muftis and the imams and the khatibs of the whole Islamic kingdom, and you are not talking about a city. Islam it was an empire by that time, stretching from Egypt till the uh, banks of Makran and over Mesopotamia, whole of Arabia, Iran, up until Central Asia. This was the Islamic empire. It was the largest empire of its time. And in this largest empire of its time, pretty much every khatib, every Maulvi, every imam was telling people that Hussein is on the wrong path. And if you go serve the government, who will by the way is going to pay you handsomely, you will be actually doing a good. So people, they followed their imams. They followed their Maulvis and they came to the Battle of Karbala. And who was leading that army? Amr ibn Sa'd. And you know who Amr ibn Sa'd was? There were 10 people to whom Rasulullah in their lifetime gave the blessing that they are from the people of Jannah. We call them Asharatul Mubashara. One of them is the kin to Rasulullah's mother. He was the person who was the first ever in Islamic history to shoot an arrow in defense of Islam. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He is the one who conquered Iran in the Battle of Qadisiyah. Amr ibn Sa'd was his son. His father fought alongside Rasulullah and Hazrat Ali karamallahu wajhu in the battles, all the Ghazawat, and other battles. And his son was leading the army to kill the grandson of Rasulullah. So an argument was made. Oh, look at him. Amr ibn Sa'd is there, right? Many would have said it. Oh, he is okay. He's maybe not the son of Rasulullah, but he is the son of one of Ashratul Mubashara. His father was amongst Sabiqun al-Awwalun, al-Muhajirun, the only person on which Rasulullah had combined his mother and father. Fidahu Abi wa Ummi, Rasulullah only said it for Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas when he was defending him with his arrows after the battle of Uhud and fending the people away, the kuffar away from Rasulullah. So Amr ibn Sa'd is his son. And the person who slaughtered Hazrat Imam Hussain, he was not killed by a stroke of a sword, he was slaughtered while praying with a knife, dagger. His head was cut off while he was in sajda. He was slaughtered. And the person, Shimr Zul-Jushan, his father, he was a Sahabi. He was one of the key figures who helped Muslims secure the victory in the Battle of Qadisiyah. He and his brothers came up with a strategy to fend off the elephants of the Iran or the Persians. So they were not ordinary people either. And they had the masses with them. And they had the ulama with them. And they have the khutaba with them. And they had the muftis with them. So if you go by that standard, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he was a loser. He knew when he set out that it is a battle I cannot win. It is a situation I cannot win because people's hearts and minds have been turned. They look more towards the money and luxury than the sacrifice and something being legit. And the sole purpose of him coming out was so that he wanted to put a line on the rock that whatever Muslims do does not define what Islam says and what Islam is. And the beauty of it, they were walking from Mecca to Kufa. And Hazrat Imam Hussain Islam, he left Mecca on the 8th of Zulhajj, one day before Hajj. When people were coming to Hajj, he left Hajj, Makkah, because he heard that the orders of the Khalifa of Yazid were to get him, tie him up, and bring him to him. So to avoid escape, the son of Rasulullah had to miss the Hajj and leave a day before when everybody else in the Muslim empire and in the Muslim Ummah was welcome to do Hajj. Rasulullah's son, a trap was being set to arrest him and get him there. So he left, and on the way, one day they were traveling, and he dozed on the back of the camel or whatever he was riding, and he woke up and he said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun." So his elder son, Hazrat Ali Akbar, he asked, "Dad, what happened?" And I want everybody to be listen to this conversation between father and son. So now what happened? He said, I just saw in my dream a person, a camel rider, who was walking right next to us. And he's saying, look at these people. They are traveling, and their death is traveling with them. So that's why I said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. So Ali Akbar, he asked, Dad, are we not on the right path? Imam Hussain Islam said, yes, of course we are on the right path. And he said, if that is the case, then that to me is sweeter than honey. I don't care. I want it. And Imam Hussain Islam, he said, Alhamdulillah, I had expected from Allah to give me a son like you. That was my hope, that Allah will give me a son like you. So Ali Akbar, he was, I think, 19 or 20, something like that. And imagine you are going and you very well know that you have no way of winning and you're only going to die. There's only one way coming out of it. But Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he wanted to put it out in black and white that the people who destroy the constitution of Islam, they cannot, he wanted to rip every veil from their face. So till the day of judgment, nobody can hide behind that. So he went there and he asked them, he said, okay, if you don't want me here, I can go back where it comes. They said, no, you can't go back. You have to submit to Yazid. He said, that I'm not going to do. I am not going to say that he is the legitimate ruler of Muslims. Because the legitimacy of rule in Islam is somebody who is A, accepted by all the Muslims, and B, rules according to the Sharia and live like Rasulullah or his four other khulafa they lived. Not a life of luxury. Khalifa needs to be the servant of people, not the ruler of people. Khalifa cannot be nominated by his father or brother or anybody of his close kin. There are characteristics that a Khalifa needs to have, and Yazid had none of them. So he said, no, I cannot do that. They said, okay, then we can't let you go. Then they made him camp at a place where there was no shade on the bank of river Euphrates. They blocked any access to the water in the hot sun for 3 days. They were without water, children, women, men, and hot scorching sun. And you tell me, how much time can you survive in those situations when the only option you just say, okay, I submit just like everybody else, and life is good for you. He could have been made the richest person or second richest after the Khalifa because his approval would have meant that the whole Muslim Ummah is approved. That is why it was so much sought after. It was not one person. He was the leader of Ummah. He was the best of the time. So imagine your kids, your children, your wife. His wife was not there. His sister was there. His daughter was there. Daughters were there. Sons were there. One of them 6 months old. And for 3 days, no water, hot sun. We can't live 4 hours like that. Our family members, they are going to kill us themselves. They are going to turn us in. Oh, he's crazy. When everybody else is doing, what is your problem? Maybe you have the wrong idea. Maybe you have the wrong thought. How can so many people be wrong? Try it. You will hear all those things. I'm telling you. Oh, you're crazy. Everybody does it. Nobody says it is like that. Nobody says it's not permissible. Everybody does it. What is your problem? You just want to tease us. You just want it for your own glory. We don't want to do it with you. That's what you will hear. But not those people. Zainab, his sister, Sukaina, his daughter, his sons, his nephews, so and so. There were old people who accompanied him from Mecca. None of them complained. And then he was sitting on the night of ninth. He was dozing. He had his sword in front of him in the ground, and he had his forehead on it, and he was dozing. When the Zainab she came and she said, "You are dozing, and the opponent army, they have started to march." So Imam Hussain Islam, he asked his brother Hazrat Abbas. He said, "Go tell them if they can give us one more night, and in the morning do whatever they want to do." He went there, Hazrat Abbas. He said, "Can you postpone it for one more night? Give us one night." Some said no, but others said, "Why not? You would give it to anybody. He's not asking for something extraordinary. Let's start it in the morning." So, and that night, Imam Hussain Razillah anhu, and this is difference between Islam, being a Muslim, being a Mu'min, and somebody who thinks they are a Muslim. I'm sorry, but I want us to have the right picture of everything. It's a difference being a Muslim and thinking that we are a Muslim. And this is the difference. Look at it. At night, he gathered everybody and he said, "Listen, they are here only for me. They have no quarrel with you, they have no issue with you. And I am willingly giving you permission to leave me and save yourself and take my kids and my family with you as well. Nobody's going to stop you. They will actually be happy that you are abandoning me. And I have no grudge. I am willingly letting you go. Please leave me tonight because there is no way. There is only death in the morning for all of us." And those who were with him, some of them old people, one of them, they stood up and they started crying. It's like, "O son of Rasulullah, if we leave you tonight, to save our lives, a life that is going to end one day, how will we face Rasulullah sallallahu and your mother on the day of judgment? Do not put us into this trial. If we had to sacrifice ourselves 1,000 times to save you, we would have done it. To be successful or to be, uh, what's the right word that I'm looking for? Uh, Victorious in front of Rasulullah sallallahu. This is only one life. They can only kill us once. Please don't try us. Don't put us into this trouble by ordering us to go back. We don't want to disobey you and we don't want to leave you. So if it comes tomorrow, we will be with you." Hazrat Imam Hussain, he became very happy and he made dua for them. And they all knew that it is just going to be, they all knew that they are going to die tomorrow. So this is what being a Muslim means. And then when Imam Hussain Islam, he started from Makkah, there were 72. On the night of ninth, there were 272. And when the dawn broke, there were 142 or something people with Imam Hussain. 70 or so people came from the other side during the night. They said, "We know you are on the right path. We don't want to fight from the wrong side. We know we are trading life for death, but we would rather die on the right than live on the wrong." This is what being a Muslim means. And then when the lines were set up and everything was done, Hur, who was the first one to stop Hazrat Imam Hussain, anhu, he was commanding 1,000 troops in that army. He was an officer. He came to this Amr bin Saad and said, Hussain has given you so many options. None of them meets your pleases you. He said, it pleases me. I sent it to Ibn Ziyad, but he did not, who was the governor of Kufa, and he did not agree to it. And he was a kid of 19 years old, Ibn Ziyad. He was not an old person. People who have qualities, they can do a lot of good in their young age, and they can do a lot of bad in their young age. So he was not even 19, maybe 19, not even 20. He was a teenager. And he refused. He said, no, either he submits or he's had. So Hur said, then okay. He came to his tent. He said, I, to his brother, and he said, I am going to the other side. His brother said, I am following you. And he had a slave. The slave said, oh, master, don't leave me behind. Look at it. Slave. He said, don't leave me behind. He could have very easily traded his position for his, freedom. But that's what Iman is, what that's being a Muslim is. So they were the last three people. They went there and he said to Hazrat Imam Hussain, he said, Imam, I am sorry. I am the one who stopped you. I am the one who forced you to camp here. Is there a way that I can repay for it? So Imam asked him, what is your name? He said, your name, your mother named you appropriately. Hur means free. So you are free from the hellfire. Then he said, Imam, I was the first one to stop you. Allow me be to the first one to die for you. Imam said, okay. And he went, he gave a lecture to everybody, said, what are you doing? Don't you think the consequences? Do you not see who you are fighting? Do you not have to? All the good things. But then, of course, they were there to kill and be killed. So they attacked, he fought, and he died, martyred. And then came the time of Zohar during the battle. So first there were individual battles. Of course, these people were on the Imam's side. They were brave and Allah helpful with them. They kept on like cutting their opponents. So then they said, okay, don't fight single one by one, just attack collectively. So they just circled them and started fighting, attacked all of them all at once. So then it was no time of Zohar. So the Muazzin of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he kept on looking at the skies. So Imam said, he said, what are you looking at? He said, Imam, the time of Zohar has come on us, has arrived. So Imam said, may Allah be pleased with you. Even in this moment, you are worried about Salat. So he said, tell them to give us a break so we can pray. Okay. So the envoy went there, said, give us some time so we can pray. And remember, you know what did they say? They said, why do you have to pray? Your prayers are not going to be accepted anyways. See the mentality? More majority versus minority. They're telling to the grandson of Rasulullah that why do you have to pray? Your prayers are not going to be accepted anyways. That is what their thought was. That is where their ulama, their khutaba, their fuqaha, everybody who were there like, okay, give us money, take us fatwa from us. That is how well trained they were by that time. We are the ones who have to pray. You don't need to pray because you are not a Muslim anyways. Telling about the person to who is guaranteed Jannah by Rasulullah. This is how majority makes people go astray. This is what happens when you follow the herd. You walk the walk and talk the talk. This is where you end up. This is what Allah is saying in this ayah. So Imam, he said, two people, you stand in front of us while we pray. Those two stood, they prayed in two rakah, I believe they prayed. One of them was martyred. They kept on like taking the arrows on their bodies. One of them martyred, got martyred by the time they finished the prayer, and the second. And then it was Imam. He came to his tent during the battle, and his 6 months old son Ali Asghar, for 3 days he had nothing. There was no milk for him because no water, no milk. So, and he was his like as if he was being uh, uh, you know in critical condition. So Imam took him in his hand, brought him out, and said to them, to the opponent party, he said, "Okay, you have a quarrel with me, but you have no quarrel with this child, this baby. Give a few drops of water for him." And one of the archers on the other side, he took aim and shot his arrow, and the arrow went through Ali Asghar's neck, and he died or became martyr right there. And his blood came to Imam's hands. So Imam put that blood up towards heavens and he said, "Oh Allah, if this is what you want, then we are happy with it." So Allah, and that is, and then of course, then at the time of Asr, Imam said, "Okay, let me Asr, do Asr," and he was doing Asr when Shimr came, and nobody was going near him to finish him off. Then Shimr, he came, but I have already mentioned that his father was a Sahabi as well. So he came and he slaughtered him, but his head was, he was in the sujood, prostrating. And then, okay, so you killed his son, you killed 140 with him, everybody. So then what happened? Then they picked up their dead. They dug a grave, they buried them, they did their Salatul Janaza, they buried them. And then they lined up their horses and they ran them over and over again on the dead bodies of Imam Hussain and all his comrades who had embraced martyrdom that day. And then they burnt their tents, chained their ladies and everybody else in there, took them and started marching, leaving the corpses open in the sky. Next day, a Bedouin tribe came and they saw them and they buried them. This is, and as I said, Islamic Empire was the largest empire at that time. So you think like the Muslims across the globe started up and revolt and everything? Nothing. Nothing. There were two, three isolated attempts that happened. One got killed, crushed. One got successful. Another got successful for some time, and that got quelled as well, eventually. So, when Allah says, if you follow the most of the people on earth, they will make you astray because they follow nothing but their own desires, their own conjectures, and even that, in that, they're just guessing here and there pointlessly. It is true for that day, it is true for today. You want a litmus test? We have 10 masajids here around. Make a recording of everybody's khutbatul Jummah to see how many of them even mention Hussein. They will tell you, oh, fasting, oh, giving charity, oh, giving zakat, oh, giving this, all that stuff. Not saying it's not important. Everybody's focus is in making Islam a religion, which it is not. Islam is a constitution. You don't want it? Fine. Don't call yourself a Muslim. Because I'm afraid that is how it is going to end up on the day of judgment. Allah says in Surah Hadid, when the mu'minun, they will be going with the light, there will be people. They will say, wait up. Let us walk in your light. And somebody will tell them, go back, get your light. You're not going to get benefit from their light. And then Allah says in Surah Hadid, read it. There will be a wall between them with the door. One side will Allah's Rahmah, where will be the Mu'mineen, and outside will be Azab, where will be the Munafiqeen. The people who thought that they were Muslims. And they will cry, they will yell from there, were we not with you in the dunya? Alam nakum ma'akum. Were we not with you in dunya? We were praying with you. We were fasting with you. We were doing zakah. We were doing qurbani. We were doing these things with you. All the rituals we were doing. Then why? Oh Allah, why? They are there and we are here. ولكنكم فتنتم أنفسكم وتربتم وارتبتم وغرتكم الأماني حتى جاء أمر الله وغركم بالله الغرور. Well, tell them you were not in it. You were there following your own desires. Whatever you think, oh, everybody's doing this, I must do it because it's the right thing. You shunned, you just were following your desire. You never followed Islam. Every one of us knows that we don't follow Islam. I don't follow Islam 100%. I try to, but I don't. So damn hard. Because Allah did not make it easy. He did not make this world to enjoy. I have heard so many things. And I ask people, oh, you think this is not permitted? I say, okay, go find me a hadith or an ayah. Everybody else is doing it. Since when is that a qualification? Or you think everybody else does? You know more than anybody else? It's not. Just prove me wrong. You want me to find for you the proof that I am wrong. When I'm telling you that what I am telling you is the right thing. But because you think I am what I'm saying, nobody else is saying, so I must be wrong. So it's upon me to find out why it is wrong and then tell you that you are right. So where is the sense, common sense in here? But Islam, Rasulullah he said, Islam started strange. It will end strange. So peace and blessings be on the strangers. I'm telling you, Imam Hussain alayhi salam was murdered when there were tons of Muslims, hundreds and thousands of Muslims in the whole empire. There was no unified revolt against anybody. There were patches. Yeah, Mukhtar Saqafi, he was able to kill all those who were part of that, whoever he could. But eventually he got killed too. Abdullah ibn Zubair, yeah, he was able to make a short-lived parallel government, but eventually Hajjaj killed him. And that's the beauty of it. You know who Abdullah ibn Zubair is? Razillah ta'ala anhu? First child born in Medina after Hijrah. Father Zubair ibn Awam Razillah ta'ala anhu. One of the Ashratul Mubashara. His mother was aunt of Rasulullah sallallahu Safiya bint Abdul Muttalib. His mother was Asma bint Abu Bakr. Sister of Hazrat Aisha, daughter of Abu Bakr. That is Abdullah ibn Zubair. And he garrisoned inside Mecca. And Hajjaj's armies, they surrounded Kaaba. And the night before he embraced Shahada, his own sons, his own nephews, his own, they came to Hajjaj, they went to Hajjaj and said, okay, give us amnesty. We are leaving him. He said, okay. So he came. He came to Hazrat Asma. She was alive at that time, 80 plus years. But she had gone blind, almost blind, if not completely almost blind. So he said, Mom, everybody has left me. Even my sons have left me. It's myself and a few people. What do you what do you suggest? And here is a Muslim mother. She said, if you give in now for the fear of your own death, then you are a horrible son to have. You got all those people killed for nothing, and you're saving your life. All those who fought aside you, alongside you, you got them killed, and you are gonna be making peace. She knew he's going to die. But that was the right answer. That is the answer of a Muslim Mu'min mother. Our mothers today, oh, no, 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 no. They won't let you fight, throw a punch at another person, let alone give your life away. Oh, no, 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 my son. Oh, no, you may get hurt. You think Islam, oh, if we sign this petition with 500 billion signatures, we will have our say. Go ahead, try it. Go ahead, try it. Oh, if we only just collectively vote this person in, we will go ahead, try it. Try it. It's not the way how Allah had it. You are training, you want having your sons to die a Muslim, but you want them to be protected inside everything. So nothing touches them, not even a heart hair. Okay, good luck. Good luck them being a Muslim. Good luck them dying a Muslim. They may live a very rich life, luxurious life. You will have tons of luxury in here and you will enjoy it with them in here, but you both will burn in hellfire for sure. Allah has never ever kept it a secret. He loves those. Inna Allah Allah yuhibbul lazina yuqatiluna fi sabilihi saffan ka'annahum bunyanun marsus. Allah loves those who kill in his path, standing together like they are an ironclad wall. Surah Saf. What are we? Who are we kidding? I want this much. I want this much. I want this much. I want this much. Oh, come here, come here, come here. Oh, no, 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 no. You know what? You are just extremists. You just want to give the dark picture. You don't want us to have. You don't have anything bright in the life. Come on. Okay. If your definition of bright is to, oh, uh, Helen is doing it, Christina is doing it, David is doing it, so probably I should also do it. And oh, okay, I can do it. I just have to cover my head, right? Okay. Oh, I can do it. I just have to have a tiny bit of beard, right? Okay. Is it okay if I do this as long as I don't drink? Rasulullah he said, whoever mimics whoever is amongst of them. It's not. Islam is not easy. Allah did not create this world for us to enjoy. He created it as a test. Some of us, we always need to be ready for it. We need to have our, and that is what Imam Hussain Radhiyallahu did. There was no point. You cannot logically prove, if you are thinking about the world, you cannot prove that what Imam Hussain Radhiyallahu did and who did was the right thing to do. 72 against like millions, hundreds of thousands of force, one Hussain, and every masjid, every member in that whole Muslim empire, and every Jummah, the Khatib would curse Hussein's father and those who loved him as part of the khutbah. And you are going out thinking that, okay, I'm going to change the world? No, he was not there to change the world. He was not there to change the world. He was there to prove once and for all is that what Muslims do is not what Islam is. You can be a Muslim, but the acts of Muslims do not define Islam. He went there and he said, okay, an Islam, a Muslim, a moment's path is to lay down his life for his principles and not yield, even if those opposing him are supposedly Muslims. That's what he did. And that is why, till this day, whenever an oppressed person stands up, he has only one example to follow of Hussein. Okay, I may not be successful, but it does not matter. I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to do whatever I can do. And whatever happens, happens. That is what Imam Hussain anhu did. That is what Karbala is. That is why it is in Muharram. That when the year starts, Allah wants us to remember. Because remember, there is no past, present, and future for Allah. Everything is present for Allah. When the month starts, we look at ourselves and say, oh, this is the beacon that we have set for us. And I need to think deep and say, okay, how close I am from Hussein. And none of us is. But what we can at least do is pick up one thing in our lives that we know we are doing and it is wrong. And say, okay, within this year, I will get rid of this one thing. I'll make this thing correct. We will never be able to be complete, perfect. But as long as we are walking, as long as we are not defending, that is the minimum of Iman. Oh, I'm doing this. Yes, I know it's wrong. Make dua for me. I have been trying. I've been trying. I have been trying. I'm just trying to come up with a way for me to get away from it. Help me if you can. That is the right answer. I read somewhere today, somebody he said, the deeper you are in sleep, the angrier you are when somebody tries to wake you up. And he was talking in the context of the Muslims and Islam. We are in such a deep sleep. Our Islam is so superficial that it has nothing to do with the constitution of Islam. It's all religion of Islam. We don't know what my rights to my father are. I don't know what my rights to my Allah are. I don't know what things are I am about allowed to do and what I do not. I don't know who am I supposed to stop? What am I supposed to allow? Nothing. Our lives. Okay, here's the thing. Take out those 5 times exercise of salat, not drinking, okay, and just covering the head out of your life. And then tell me how is it different from any Christian or Hindu or Sikh around you? How is it different? It's not. I bet you it's not. We are just like them. The only difference is they go to church, we go to masjid. They go on Tuesday, we go on Friday. When they come out of their church, they wash their hands off of whatever they had there. When we come out of Friday, we wash our hands off of whatever we had over there. All the Maulvis, they keep on talking. Who cares? We are so tuned. Because deep inside, we know that whatever they're saying, it's personally motivated as well. And we go in there with our ears locked. We are there just to pray. We are not there to learn anything. And that's what we are. That's where we are. Because we know, trust me, we know that if we start to listening to Quran, our life will be a hell. We know that. Deep inside, Every one of us knows. And it's a conscious decision that we make, that we keep a blind eye. Only problem with this, he knows. He knows. He knows here. He knows here. You cannot trick him. So on the day of judgment, he'll say, yeah. Remember that time when you got this thought that I'm doing this thing wrong, or you wanted to open the Quran, but you did not open that. Oh, you knew that you were going to not find what you're looking for in there. So you turned to Maulvi X, Y, and Z because you knew he is going to tell you what you wanted to hear. And Maulvi X, Y, and Z told you, and you went on and said, okay, this is what Islam is. And you knew this is not what Islam is. And then you become so habitual that you said, okay, Maulvi X, Y, and Z, I have been trying to do this thing. Is it permissible in Islam? And Maulvi got the cue. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. Because they were so in tune. They are in tune with us. It's not today. At the time of Hussein, all the Maulvis, all the members, all the khutbas were cursing his father. And they were saying Hussein is not a Muslim. What are we talking about? The Maulvis of today, which have a 1400s worth of distance and money and luxury, and being a Maulvi is a career now, and every career has somebody who pays you, and whoever pays you owns you. And whoever owns you, you do what they want. I tell you, as a Muslim in this country, my biggest concern is that I do not get deported from America for my religious beliefs. So do these Maulvis. So we have a shaved up version of Islam. Not only in America, in Saudi Arabia, in Pakistan, everywhere. Every Maulvi, most of them, 99.99999% of them, they have their own motives. They say what people want to hear and they tell you what they want to hear. And that's exactly why when somebody says the true picture of Islam, I say, oh, how do you think? You think everybody else is stupid? You think everybody else is wrong? You are wrong. And Rasulullah he said, Islam started strange, it will end strange, and Allah be pleased be strange with the strangers. Those who will stay on Islam, fight for it, they will always be very few. And the key signature of them is in the time of trouble, they seek Allah. They go to Allah. They don't ask for people to have mercy on them. So it's a reminder. I know it's a big ask, it's a huge ask, but it's for our own good. We need to start looking into our lives and start making corrections. It is going to end one day. The worst time to wake up is when you are dying. That's the worst time to wake up because it's no point at that point in time. Come out of two fears and you will be liberated. There are only two fears that govern us. Two: fear of being hungry, going hungry at night, which also means like having less money and everything, but basic fear is hunger and death. If you can overcome these two, you will become a mu'min. Nothing in the world will bother you. Look at Sahaba. This is what they did not have. They did not have fear of hunger. They would go hungry at nights on routine, and they were not afraid of death. And rest is history. Look at Rasulullah. This is Islam. I'm not saying don't eat. I'm saying don't be afraid of it. Don't let it govern you. Or if there are not two people working in the house, you can't make both ends meet. How? Why? That's not how Allah created the world. You may not have luxury, but He does Razak. He will feed you. What food you have to eat, He plans it years ago, months ago. The steak that you are eating today, the calf was born a year ago in God knows what land. He does not, you don't know what leaf did he graze on, the water he drank. Before he was born or she was born, it was written that this much of its meat is going to go to husband's plate. And every petal of grass it ate, every drink of water it had, all of that was used to make that one steak that you ate. And all of that had your name written on it. And you are thinking today, oh, if I don't work 12 shift or if my wife does not work with me, we won't be able to have good time. That is where we are tied up. Fear of hunger. Don't trust in Allah that He plans for us. He has it. You have a pretty decent canvas to play on. It's pretty decent. It's not luxurious, but it's pretty decent. Not saying that Muslim cannot be rich. There were Sahaba who were rich. But don't make it the purpose of your life. You need to have hard and fast boundaries. Don't be afraid to lose this world because one day you are going to. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منكم فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. Tell them the death that you hate. One day you're going to meet it. Then you will be returned to the one who knows every hidden and open things. And he will tell you what you had been doing. So, what you have to leave tomorrow or the day after, why not throw it out of your heart today? That is what Islam is. That is what the whole training is. And yes, it is hard. That is why Allah says only those who are believers can do it. Only those who are believers can put the willingness, the happiness or the approval of Allah above everything else. And that is all that we need to be striving for. What is Muslim? What is a mu'min? Before we start doing anything, we ask ourselves if my Lord is going to be happy with it or not. At least start thinking about it. At least start thinking about it. Start to turn our lives that way. If somebody comes and asks you if this is something that Allah permits, if you don't know, ask somebody. And if you know, then give the right answer. But give a right answer that has some basis. Ask people the questions. There are many things in our religion, like other religions, that have been that are included for the convenience of people that have no base in Islam. But what we have and nobody else does is we have Quran and Hadith and we know what is right and what is wrong and we can make everything to test. And there are things that were unanimously agreed upon the whole Ummah till the 1900s, early 1900s. And then because we were slaves or we were impressed, we started changing them so that we can become, more at pace with others. We need to find those things and we need to go back. And here's the thing, if anybody has any hope of living in a time when Islam will be dominant, which everybody who believes in the constitution of Islam should have, if you believe in the religion of Islam, you're just making it hard for yourself. Find another religion, maybe. Astaghfirullah, I should not be saying it, but I'm saying it to tease everybody because it's probably going to measure the same way on the day of judgment. But If you are believing in the Constitution of Islam and you want to live in a place where Islam is the dominant way of life, be ready to be sacrificed. Be ready to fight for it. You don't have to fight, but at least be ready. You will get reward and ajr for it. That's what Imam Hussain did. Be ready. Keep the example of Hazrat Ali Akbar salam in front of you, who just asked one question, as I told you, Dad, are we on the right path? Are we not on the right path? When he said, Yes, of course we are, he said, Then death is sweeter to me than honey. And his father was so proud, he said, I expected Allah to give me a son like you. This is what being a Muslim is. I was reading and I was listening to it, and there is this share verse in Farsi. Its translation is Allah gives the drink with his own hands. Allah gives the drink to those whose heads are cut. Those are the people that Allah loves and He cherishes, and He gives them drink with His own hand. You have to let go of this life. You have to sacrifice yourself for the sake of Allah, for Allah to accept you. And of course, it is not an easy thing. It's If it would have been easy, then everybody would have ended up in Jannah. It's not easy. We have a lot to fight through. There are lots of things that are opposing us. The only way to overcome all these difficulties is by strengthening our bond and belief in Rasulullah, our nisbat with Rasulullah. The more we believe in him, mind you, the only reason we fell short is that our belief is not where it is supposed to be. Our connection with Rasulullah is not where it is supposed to be. If we love him, if we believe in him, just like as if he is living amongst us, like Sahaba did, we would act like Sahaba. That's as simple. So we have to keep working on learning about him, improving our connection with him, and getting ourselves ready to follow his footsteps. And that requires cleansing of heart, which can only be done by remembering Allah, which is why we gather here. So with this focus, inshallah, we'll start. Say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Kalma Tawheed, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Kalma Tamjeed, Subhanallah walhamdulillahi wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Durood Sharif Ibrahimi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin, kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. سيد الاستغفار: أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. آية كريمة: لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. سورة فاتحة. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سورة إخلاص. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. آية الكرسي. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله الحسيب. لطيف. يا مجيب السميع. يا وهاب. يا يا باري. يا قابض. يا علي العظيم. يا يا حي يا قيوم. يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. يا حنان يا منان. يا غفور يا رحيم. يا جواد يا كريم. Ya Alamul Ghuyub. Ya Wadudu Ya Atufu. Ya Baqiyu. Ya Basitu. Ya Kabir al Muta'al. Salamun Qawlam min Rabbir Rahim. Ya Badi al Ajaibi bil Khair. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Allahu Ya Rahman. Salatul Khawf. Those of you who do not know this Durood Sharif, they can recite whichever Durood Sharif they know. This one is Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi. Salatan takun lana amana min kulli khawf. Recite Surah Fatiha one time and make dua, inshallah. Salli ala Muhammad. Muhammad Rasul. Astaghfirullah.